when a New Earth project first came into being, we recognized that the outdoor industry and athletes in the outdoor industry were the perfect human beings to really engage with, to be ambassadors for sustainability. We began to really engage with a lot of people in this space, and Brooke Hopper, who was working for us at the time, said, I know an athlete that you guys really need to engage with. She's super inspiring. I think she's a perfect match for what you're trying to do. And that person was your wife, Kimmy Fasani. So we had some conversations, and her story and just who she was so inspiring to me. That culminated into a trip to Mammoth, where I came to see you guys. And one of my favorite parts about when we first met is I'll walk into the condo and there is some artwork on the wall, and I stopped and I looked and I'm like, this is strange. I own that artwork. I bought that print. It's hanging at my house. And you looked at me and you go, yeah, I painted that. It was just this moment of like, well, there's something cosmic going on here. For me, it was confirmation that, there's really something here.
That authentic connection was a special one. But like you said, my wife is a very special human, and so when she first started talking to you and Dawn and everyone, it sounded so interesting because, as you said, packaging in the outdoor industry isn't a traditional connection that you would make, but your belief in the environment, your belief in the natural world was really inspiring. And then as you walked into my house and as we actually connected on a human level, then we were off to the races. I think we talked for a very long time. Then we went down to my studio and talked about my art and my process and what is important to me and how I create and why I create. And ultimately that nature was my greatest teacher and the natural world is my biggest inspiration through my artwork.
The other place that I was familiar with your work before I knew you was the film you made, Fire on the Mountain. I had seen that film before I met you, and I was always so inspired by it. I was like, this is cool.
The Fire on the Mountain was very much a universal connection to the music, to my art, to everything, and how that happened was very authentic, very organic. And so this next film was just brewing inside of me since the last film, and I kept talking to Bill and I was talking to Mickey, and then the universe, just like it does with my artwork, chose the timing. I started going down this path 3 years ago, meeting you, talking to you, trying to fundraise and build this thing, and then it just so happens that by the time I'm ready to release this, the Dead are approaching their 60th anniversary. Like, all of these things happened in concession of without me intentionally knowing, which speaks to who I am and my work that I do and why you had a piece of my artwork, and the universal connection that happens in my life is something very spiritual and very special. So
these type of collaborations are important for the world to see, that like we're not siloed. We're all deeply connected, and when we acknowledge those connections with love, we can create beautiful music in the world, beautiful magic in the world. And I really believe that that's what this whole process has been about. You and I talk a lot about this, is like the synchronicities and the doors that open and the connections that happen. We're all sort of in awe of it all. But I really believe that's because when you're pointed in the right direction, when we all point ourselves in the direction of life, of love, of health, the universe responds and says, yes, keep going. Can you talk a little bit more about Mountains of the Moon and where that's headed, and what we should expect to see from Chris Benchetler in the next 12 months?
Yes, and it's still an ever-evolving thing. I mean, we're approaching, the release is happening in October. There will be a premiere in Los Angeles. It will be a multi-night thing, and I'm building out a large art exhibition. So we found about a 10,000 square foot building that I want to recreate my studio that you and I had that deep connection. It represents all of my ideas and concepts from the last 38 years of life and beyond, even before I was born, just what's deeply innate in my soul on a cellular level, and the art that I get to create. And it's a culmination of all my love for the music, for the natural world, for everything that I believe. And 6 years of my life thinking about how to elevate what I did the first time and how to expand on that. So there's physical paintings. There's a painting that you in our conversation did really inspire. I think that painting took me months actually, but it naturally came on its own, and it's become a big part of the film. It's become elements of animation. It's become concepts that tie the film together with I try to cover the life cycle, I try to cover the water cycle, I try to cover that circle of life with animals and creation and relating that back to mycelium. So all of that is represented in that singular painting, and that painting kind of takes us to the end of the film and the end of the journey.
Embedding that intelligence of nature into the spirit of who you are, and bringing that into the world in such a beautiful way is really special. And to be a small part of your support network, to bring this into reality is an honor, and it's a privilege. And I just can't thank you enough for allowing A New Earth Project to be a part of your world.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
So much. I appreciate you more than you know. So thank you for bringing it to life.
Yes, sir.